Good afternoon, everybody. This is Carlos Bautista, the Director of Liturgy at St. Elizabeth Seton Church. And today we are going to be doing the session for the greeters. I hope you don't mind there's some noise going on in my house. My mom is doing some shredding on the shredding machine, and my dad is doing helping with the remodeling of our one of our bathrooms. So I hope you don't mind the noise that's going on upstairs. I think you can hear it. But in today's session for the greeters, I want to talk about primarily your function, your importance, your contribution that you do at our parish, and how important it is that our greeters, how important our greeters are in the roles of our church, of our parish, in terms of its liturgy, of its life, of its environment. Because it brings together so many aspects in the parochial life that without the greeters, there should be lacking in something. And so so that's what I'm going to elaborate on today is you, the greeters, as the face and identity of the parish. So I want to start off with an example. So you get invited to your house. A family invites you to your house, and you see that once you arrive at the house, the house is basically disorganized. If there are children, they don't say hi. They ignore you when you come in. The person who invites you, welcomes you in open arms, happy. But then either the spouse or anybody that's also living in the house just gives you a very cold look. How would you feel in that particular environment? How would you feel in that particular situation? Would you feel angry? Would you feel sad? Would you feel uninvited? Even if the person who invited you is happy, is happily inviting you into their house, but at the same time, how would you feel? But then look at this other example. You get invited to a house. The whole family welcomes you, shakes your hand, says, please sit down. Would you like something to drink? Would you like, a soda, a beer, etc.? So they welcome you with open arms. The whole family says hello to you. They offer their hand. They offer you a drink, etc. And eventually they invite you for dinner or for lunch, or they invite you from what they have at the table. And they make you feel like family. Now, how would you feel? What is the difference between the two different situations? One is a very cold environment. The other one is a very warm, homely, very inviting environment. And so that is the importance of what some of the importance that the greeter ministry has a very big impact at our parish. In some parishes, when they don't have greeters, they have no one to welcome. They have no one to guide them where they could sit. They have no one to guide them where they can sit down if they are in a wheelchair, or if people have different needs. There's nobody that they can see that they can help with. They usually had to turn to the priest, but the priest is saying mass. And some of the other volunteers, they're either reading or being the Eucharistic minister. Everyone else is busy, and so there's no greeters. And I'm not sure that in the Archdiocese there is a single church that doesn't have greeters, or ushers in this case. But that would be happening if a church or a parish does not have an usher ministry or greeter ministry, where they are helping the people, or they are greeting the people as they come in, giving them a warm smile, or offering their hand as a handshake, saying hello, welcome to our parish, please be seated wherever you like, here's a worship aid, here's a bulletin, etc. Making them feel like they are part of the family, making them feel that they are part of home. And so that's a very important aspect, or a very important part of the greeter ministry, is that welcoming environment. And I'm not saying that our greeters aren't very welcoming and very friendly. I'm just saying that that everyone that's taking part in this ministry at our parish is doing a very great job at it. There are some areas in which we can improve, but everybody is doing a very wonderful, terrific job at doing that. Sometimes when as we rotate the masses, sometimes I had the chance to speak to some of the greeters, or to joke around with some of the greeters, and so that's the family and environment that I feel at the parish, is that we all try to get along as best as we can. We are all welcoming towards each other, even though beyond the parish we may have issues with this person or that person or the neighbor or this or that. In the parochial setting, we are all welcoming. We are all Christian-like, or Christ-like in this case. I wanted to invite everybody to take a look at the lectors session, and I think you can find it just by looking around on the YouTube channel, the liturgy YouTube channel. But I'll post a link in the description of the video below, where you can see this particular section. I don't want you to see the whole 40-minute video, but I just want you to see this short section that I prepared for the lectors, and that's focusing on the power of the baptism, of our baptism, on what our baptism gives us, some of the abilities that we have been given in our baptism. And there are three different identities that we have been given in our baptism. One is our priestly identity, one is our prophetic identity, and the other one is our royal identity, or as kings or queens in this case, or as like part of the royal family in this case. Not like in a royal family as in the Great Britain royal family, but the royal family as in the heavenly royal family. That's what I mean. And so these three different identities is what Jesus is. Jesus is prophet, king, and priest. Jesus is prophet, king, and priest. Or priest, prophet, and king. Priest, prophet, and king. Priest, prophet, and king. So Jesus is all three of these. When we are baptized, we all participate or share in these three identities. So when we are baptized, we all become priests, we all become prophets, and we all become kings. Now, the lectors, we focus on the prophetic identity, where they have the ability to profess or to proclaim God's word. The greeters, we are going to be focusing on the kingly identity, where, as I explained in the lectors session, where the king, the meaning of the king identity is not to rule with an iron fist or to say, this is mine, and you go get your own because this is mine. No, the kingly identity is basically servitude. You're extending your service to one another. You are compassionate towards one another. You are helping one another. So you see your neighbor and you find or you meet the needs of your neighbor. So in this case, if a parishioner comes in on a walker or on crutches, or with a tank of oxygen gas, whatever the case, what should a greeter using his or her royal or kingly or identity should do in that situation? How can you serve that person? How can you serve this particular individual? Even if they say, no, I got it, it's fine, I can take care of it, but you are offering yourself for that person. You are becoming Christ-like. So every time we participate or we act upon one of these three identities, or even if we act on all three identities in our daily lives, we are being Christ-like towards one another, or towards the world, or towards our community. So at the particular ministry, when we act upon our assistance to the need of the parish, to the needs of the parishioners, we are acting on our royal identity, where we become kings like Christ to go and serve. So and also that's a reference to the Gospel of John, where Jesus washes the feet of Peter and his disciples. He's being a king at that point. The meaning of king in the Old Testament, in the New Testament, is to serve. is this person of eternal service towards his friends, eternal service towards his community, his neighbors. And so this is our eternal service that we have to do in our ministry as greeters. And so that's how very important our ministry is as greeters, is that we are the face and identity of the parish. The first thing that the parishioners see when they come in for Mass is the greeters. You know, they may see me running around, they may see Father John giving hugs and kisses to everybody, but ultimately they always go to getting a copy of the bulletin, a copy of the worship aid, and then the first person that they see should be the greeters. And it's very wonderful to see all the greeters working together, even families that bring in their kids to come and help being greeters at the doorstep. And so I really thank you for everybody for doing that, to offer your services and acting on your kingly identity to doing that. And so the next thing that I wanted to talk about is the impact of the coronavirus that's been going on. I know that before we entered into this period of quarantine, one or two of you have come up to me to ask of how we can do to mix up the teams, so we can have teams that are a little bit more balanced, a little bit more equal, because I can see that some teams have less people than other teams, and in one particular Mass, you know how you have one Mass. So in this case, let's take I forgot. It's been a while. I forgot the Mass times. 7:15 a.m. Mass. We got two teams. One team that's doing 1 month, and then the other team that's doing the other month. And then they rotate one and the other, one and the other, one and the other, every other month in this case. And these two teams, in some Masses, are very unbalanced. Either we need one, recruit more greeters, or two, balance the teams out, so moving one member towards another team so we can have a little bit more balanced teams, and that will actually have to link to the what I was talking about in the beginning. You know, the first group of people that the people see when they come into the church are the greeters, and if we have no team of greeters in one particular Mass, then that becomes sort of a problem. So that becomes sort of the cold environment. You know, there's no one to greet me, there's no one to say hi to me, there's no one to say how are you, how was your day, how was your week, how are you, or even hand me a handshake, or offer me a handshake. As I was talking in the previous sessions, we don't know the situation that some of the people may be going through, a divorce, some may be depressed, maybe having a hard time or a tough day. And so the greeters are there to be the face of the church. You know, if we say St. Elizabeth Seton Catholic Church is a wonderful, warm, friendly family environment, family community, then it's true. But everybody is either busy with something else, preparing for the Mass, practicing their readings, preparing to distribute communion at the end of Mass, or they are inside of the church doing their prayers. And so the first people that they usually always see are the greeters, saying hello, offering a handshake. And so it's very important that we have greeters at every single Sunday Mass, so the people could see that the parish is vibrant, wonderful, family friendly, and etc. And so that's one of the things that we're going to have to focus when we come back from this quarantine. Now, coming back from this quarantine as becoming a little bit more, I want to say not complicated, but a little bit tough. Today is May. Oh, I don't have my watch. Today is May 14th. Yesterday, the Cardinal sent out a couple of new guidelines on how we are going to be reopening the parish, and so that's going to impact the greeters, so to say, and also the ministers. Also, all the ministers is going to impact all the ministers, all of the greeters, and so it's just trying to figure out how are we going to bring everybody back to church slowly, little by little, step by step, and then go back into our place in which, as if the coronavirus never existed. You know what I'm saying? So going back to normal in this case. How do we go back to normal? How do we get all the greeters back? How do we get all of our ministers back? So that's going to be a little tough. That's going to be a little challenging for us, because I know and I assume that some ministers, some members of the community are still going to be a little anxious coming back to the church. Especially when all these stay-at-home orders have been expired or lifted, or the CDC comes out with new regulations. I mean, even I myself put into the shoes of our fellow parishioners, and I couldn't imagine how they must be feeling. Even though after, again, these regulations have been lifted, I would still be anxious of coming to the parish, and so that's going to be a little difficult. But even still, trying to find a balance in the teams once things go back to normal is very crucial. It's very important. And unfortunately, we can't do that right now because everybody is at home, and we cannot meet together as a group to discuss it, to dialogue about it, to talk about it. And so that's why I'm doing these sessions for the greeters, to start getting our thinky caps going, trying to find solutions and trying to find ideas on how we can do it. Some people may have to offer doing 2 months, or in this case, when we come back, we can just you can just leave me to mix the teams up a little bit, and then we go where we go. But I wanna extend that invitation to enter into the dialogue, into the discussion with me, for all of you, so we can see where your needs at, and we can see how we can better serve the community, how we can be the identity of the face of the parish, as we've always been, and how we plan to move forward after this. And so this was fairly a short session, not too long. And I just wanted to again say thank you to all of the greeters. I know that we've recruited a couple of new greeters. One is a catechumen, and so he continued to pray for him and his wife. His wife has become a new Eucharistic minister, and so she has been active in the ministry. It's just unfortunate that all of this is happening, that even some of the other ministers haven't had the chance to get into practice, especially the sacristans. But God willing, once all of this is over, we'll be ready to go, and we'll be back at it how we always been, and how we always have that love and ability to serve our church and to serve our community as best as we can, and how you are all on fire for your faith, and how all of you are on fire to be there at the church. But continue praying, continue staying in prayer, continue to stay safe, following the guidelines, the regulations. Stay at home as best as possible. Only go out when you need to. And again, thank you everybody for your help, for your service to the parish. And once we come back, we'll find a way on how to better serve the community, and how to balance the teams. So the next session will be in the next 2 weeks, and 2 weeks from now, because we're gonna go back to the beginning. So on Tuesday I will do a session for the Eucharistic ministers, and then on Thursday we will go back again to the beginning with the sacristans, and then we are going to be rotating. So you and the Eucharistic ministers are the end of the line for the first wave of series, and then we go back to the sacristans, and we do the second wave of the series. So God bless everybody. Stay safe, and hope to see everybody soon.